I play VR a lot, and I don't know many other people who even know what VR is. Or the people who do know what VR is might have just played a simple roller coaster game, or played Beat Saber, and then thought to themselves, that's it. That's what VR is. It's pretty cool, but I don't think it's worth it. And that's where I come in, to show you the simple and the complex things you can do in VR. I'm Hotdogs, and this is what virtual reality really is all about. Now let's start with something simple. Something you might already know. Beat Saber. This game is one of those games you can play if you go to a mall or an arcade with a VR system. Sometimes they have more games, but this is the most popular and easy to play. The controls are simple. Match the color of the lightsaber with the corresponding colored block and slice in the direction of the arrow to the beat of the music. The concept is quite simple, but it can get really difficult the more you play. There are countless difficulties in many different songs. You can see here me playing Beat Saber. I'm not the best, but it's a game that I can play at home. There are other games that you might have not seen before. If you enjoy Beat Saber, maybe you'll enjoy Audica. It's the same concept, but with guns. Just check me out playing some Audica. I am actually moving my arms around and pulling triggers to aim at these targets. Nothing is automatic, and I have to time the shots to the music. Audica and Beat Saber are both great because they are really simple, but VR is not all simple games where you just stand still. Let's introduce our first complex game. You probably won't be playing this anywhere in a mall or an arcade. This is Blade and Sorcery, filled with lots of sword combat, bows, and magic spells to cast upon your enemies. It's such a fun game because of its high skill ceiling. A skill ceiling is how much someone can get better at a game through practice. A low skill floor would mean that you won't need much practice or knowledge of the game in order to pick it up and have fun. It's the reason why Beat Saber and some other simple games are so popular at arcades, because the skill floor is really low. But games that have a higher skill floor are much more rewarding to learn, and reaching for that high skill ceiling is super rewarding. Let's look at some of the things I can do in Blade and Sorcery. I can use my telekinetic powers to my advantage. Fireballs, electricity, and gravity spells. But I also have awesome swords and axes to play with too. The enemies do a good job at blocking my attacks for the most part, and are usually pretty threatening. All those spells I mentioned can be cast upon your weapons to help get through their defenses and finish them off. I can combine spells together to make powerful spells, such as this giant fireball, and this beam of electricity I can fire out. But sometimes it's just more fun to try and outplay them in swordsmanship. gonna get my hands dirty. Everything I do in this game is with my hands. The only thing I'm not actually doing is walking and jumping around. Everything else I have to command. Again, nothing is automatic. And again, this is all in VR. There are lots of different sword games, but let's look at a different popular genre, shooting games. Shooting games are very popular because it has a relatively low skill floor, but a massive skill ceiling. You could dedicate hours upon hours practicing shooting games and you would still have lots to learn. Plus, it gives you a sense of adrenaline, being shot at, finding your enemy, and taking them out before they can take out you. I put myself in a game here with one bot. A bot is a computer that plays the game and attacks me, almost like a real player would. I then put myself in a different map setting and played against a whole bunch at a time. You can tell that I know where the enemy is coming from because VR has great stereo sound, giving me lots of spatial awareness. With lots of practice, I'm able to fend myself off against many bots. I could play against players, but sometimes that's not all that you would look forward to in a shooter.
I'm not normally this small. It's a cold, I swear.
This silly game with walking, talking hot dogs is, in my opinion, VR's most realistic gun sandbox. A sandbox is a game where you can spawn any item as many times as you want, make whatever items you want, make whatever enemies you want, and create your own scenario to play in. Whether it's shooting at targets or fighting against bots. This game has a high skill floor, so it's really hard to get into, but it's got some great gunplay. And it even has swords too, although not as realistic as Blade and Sorcery. Let's switch over from swords and guns to something a little more interesting. How about fighter jets? You could fly through the sky and just look around, or put yourself in a combat scenario with other bots controlling jets, SAM sites, and naval vessels, all for you to destroy and missions for you to complete.
No, I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my god, I did it. Fly this basic plane in VTOL VR. Shoot down your enemies, dodge missiles, and lock your targets on the ground with anti-ground missiles. Launch your cruise missiles with sent GPS coordinate data. GPS point? I think I do. GPS send. GPS send. And there you go.
Defeated. That was close.
And finish off the fleet with your Vulcan cannon. There we go.
Shack, target eliminated.
Now can I land again? Looking to go fast on the ground? Then a racing game could be the pick for you. Choose from over 150 different cars and put yourself in the driver's seat. Choose your track, whether it be a racetrack or just a closed-off road down a city. But you'll be going upwards of 150 miles per hour down these roads and taking your corners as tight and effectively as you can in Project Cars 2. Still not fast enough? Why not try some Group B rally cars on some beautiful roads? Now, the beauty of the road will be absolutely ignored once you realize how fast you're going. It may look a little weird on your screen, but sometimes that's just how the games are displayed on a two-dimensional monitor. But in VR, it seriously feels like the real deal. Take some of these dangerous turns at super high speeds while listening to your passenger give you directions on how to run the course. Now, you're not actually turning the wheel or stepping on the gas. In this depiction, I have a controller that I use to do these things, but the headset makes it look and feel all the more real, and all the more scary. Seriously, going this fast is terrifying. But not as nearly as terrifying as this game. Phasmophobia is a great VR game. It is actually a desktop game, meaning it wasn't made for VR, but they added compatibility with VR, meaning we could play it on either desktop or VR. But it is just so much scarier in VR.
It's spooky.
It's really hard to explain and show you how much scarier it is just on a video. You have to really be in the VR headset to feel it. The objective of the game is to go to a haunted area, whether it be a house, a campsite, an asylum, and other locations, and get evidence on what kind of ghost you are dealing with.
Are you here? Where are you?
You have to keep your sanity high, otherwise the ghost can get angry.
What the hell? Oh my god. Oh no.
Not everything in VR is to fill you with adrenaline and fear. It's time to relax, pick an environment, and do some mini golf in Walkabout Minigolf VR. This game just feels peaceful. It doesn't look realistic, but it doesn't have to in order for you to feel like you really are in these environments. From the sounds, to the visuals, with so many different scenes to choose from, it's going to be hard to play just one course. Now, I've already talked about many different VR games. These are not all of them. No, certainly not. I even left out some of the larger, more popular VR games. But to get my point across is to try and show what you can do. Not everything you can do. I could explain the survival genre, where you can chop trees and gather materials to build a house and survive in a dangerous world, but it's so complex, it's a topic maybe I'll save for another time. I didn't mention some of my favorites, but that's for you to explore. I haven't even mentioned Vrchat, the game I'm in right now. It has so many places to go, it can be overwhelming, but you'll never run out of content. And in this game, you can hang out with friends, play pool, watch movies together. It's great, but it's something I'll have to let you figure out on your own. I can maybe make another video on these topics in more detail, but for now, I'll leave it at this. So instead of going to the mall or the arcade and trying a roller coaster or playing Beat Saber and saying that's it, understand that there is a whole other world waiting for you. I'm Hotdoggers, and this is what virtual reality is all about.